Hello, everybody. Today we're going to talk about Rose just a little bit more because my first video I've learned some stuff since then. And, I find the Rose situation very intriguing. There's not a ton out there, but what I did get in my first video, I missed something. We're going to correct that here, and maybe it'll give you guys a better idea of what you think happened with Summer's aunt. Anyway, in the last video I talked about how small Rose was. She's 5 foot tall, right? Now, Brandy says she's seen this, but she couldn't remember where. So I'm going to still put it out there, and if you guys have seen, let me know. And what I'm talking about is Rose is 5 foot tall, right? Well, when they found her car, I think it would have been extremely telling to know if the seat was all the way up or back or somewhere in the middle. Because you would think at 5 foot tall, it would almost have to be pulled up as far as it could go for her to reach the pedals and, to be able to drive comfortably without reaching and stuff. So I'm sure they took that into account because I know that's big anytime, you have a person that's extremely tall or extremely short. That can give you a good hint as to if they were the last person to drive the vehicle. So I'd be really interested to know if Rose's seat was all the way up or kind of back, because I would think it would have to basically be all the way up. That's one thing I was thinking about, and thought about this too. With Rose having the two children, the two babies, I'm pretty sure that she could be charged with child abandonment if she just hauled butt. Would you think? I would. And maybe that's the reasoning that she's still gone. I'm not sure. I don't know if where they were with the husband when she left, if that would be called abandonment. But the way I understood it, abandonment was walking out of your kid's life and not seeing them again, taking care of them, supporting them, anything like that. So you would think if this was a voluntary thing that she's doing everything she can to stay hid to avoid that. I'm not saying that's what the case is, but it is a scenario. And I wanted to add this in too, and I've had this in another video, but when Chris McDonough interviewed Candace over at the house, he asked her, there was a picture of Rose up, and he asked her, he said, what do you think happened? Do you think the husband had anything to do with it? And she said, I don't know. And like I said in that video when we talked about that, you would almost think that she would have took that bait if she was involved and be like, yeah, I'm pretty sure he looks sketchy to me. I'm not sure, but it could be him. I'm thinking it might be. That's the way I would have answered it if I was her. Don't want that suspicious on you. And, Chris apparently acted like he heard rumors that it could have been the husband, so I'd have went with that if I was involved. Yeah, it was him. I'm pretty sure. Actually, one night he called me drunk and he said it was him. I don't know. Anyway, moving on. Rose disappeared in August. Summer disappeared in June. Pretty close together. June, July, August. Is there a reason people would disappear in the summer? Because people are out and about a lot more? I would think so, probably. I kind of answered my own question, I believe. I would say the disappearances are definitely up in warmer weather. Wouldn't you? You wouldn't? Colder weather? Anyway, moving on. Thought this was interesting because I watched the press conference they had a couple years ago again. And that sheriff would not act like there was foul play. He labels it as a missing person case still. Now, I know there's different levels of things. I think there's like the missing endangered person and other things, but he's sticking with just missing person. That kind of makes me think he doesn't think anything nefarious went on. What do you guys think? What's that? Crickets, huh? Yeah, it's confusing, man. I'm not sure either. I'm going to tell you what I do think, though, at the end. I'm going to give you a theory on this one. There was evidence in the car. What I seen the first time said the exact opposite of that. Nothing was found at the crime scene. After watching the sheriff's video, he says there was evidence and there was DNA. Now, if there's unknown DNA, that kind of makes that, the scales, unknown DNA kind of gives me a little bump toward nefarious activity. Because I'm assuming, since he said evidence and there was DNA evidence, that for surely it wasn't anybody that they could match it to. And, the sheriff, this video I'm talking about, if you haven't seen it, I posted it in the link of my Rose Bly video, the first one I did. If you haven't seen it, watch it. Grandis, I swear, seems legitimately emotional. Now, that really kind of clouds things for me, because it makes me wonder if it hit her that hard and that bad, why she wasn't more supportive and why she fled Tennessee when she did. Because she had to know what it was like. And she had to know that Candace was feeling the same thing. And if she didn't think that, makes you wonder why, don't it? Apparently she felt like Candace was okay enough to where she could leave and it wasn't going to be a big deal. So I find that interesting. No reward. There is zero reward for Rose. And the police, now mind you, that interview's a couple years ago. The police said, they may look into something like that. Well, yeah, if you can get a reward together, there's snitches like a reward. You know what I'm saying? If somebody knows something and there's a ton of money for telling it, they're a lot more likely to. If all they get out of it is to be a good person, then they're probably not going to say nothing. Because if they have that information, they're probably not great people because they hanging out with somebody that's doing nefarious things at the least, right? Now, I see a lot in my comments about where the car was. Now, I've looked into this quite a bit, and all I can find is it was in a parking lot that is usually used by truckers to park their semis. It doesn't say it's a truck stop. Now, it possibly could be. I'm just telling you, everything that I've seen that has some factual proof to it describes it as a parking lot where truckers will park their semis. And before we get to my theory, I went over a couple other things just to see what was up. Watch me a spirit box section. Y'all ever watch those spirit box sessions? What is your belief level in spirit box sessions, 1 through 10? Mine's about what's lower than 0, -1? I mean, come on. And this is an app. They're saying there's an app you can get for your phone that's going to communicate with people that's passed. And that had 4.4 thousand views. People watching some person on a spirit box app communicate with spirit. I'm a little open to psychics, but when you come at me and tell me, hey, I got an app on my phone, you want to talk to anybody you've known that's passed? Right here it is, swipe right. Come on, man. Come on. At least some people were a little creative and they made them up some kind of device that would produce static. Now there's an app. I hope the majority of people don't buy into that. Then I thought, here, let me tell you what words popped up according to the person that made this video. Now, I'm not sure about that either. One of them said, visit Panama. Another one said, thief. Another one said, she threat. Another one said, husband not caught. Another one said, was violent. I don't know how you could put all that together, And those are just a few of the things it said. It spit out a bunch of stuff. So apparently, Rose was visiting Panama. She had tried to steal something. She was threatened for it. Her husband wasn't caught. And it was a mess. That's my interpretation, right? Is that what y'all got out of it? Something different? Well, let me know. Then I moved on to psychics. I thought, well, let's see what the psychic has to say about it. The psychic says Rose wasn't harmed by anyone in her family. Now, a lot of people think opposite of that, but that's what she said. She also said it was law enforcement that perpetrated this. 100%. Clear as a bell, she says. And she says the perpetrator was extremely smart. Lex Luthor level smart, apparently. And then she basically said Rose was selling herself. And I think y'all know what I mean. And that's when I turned off the psychic. Because I find it horrible to say something like that about somebody you don't know what's happened to. I think it's horrible. I've never seen any proof of anything like that. So for somebody to put it out there and say that, I just think that's bad, man. I don't agree with that at all. I don't agree with a lot of that kind of stuff at all, but to say that's horrible to me. It really is. And I wonder if maybe Rose didn't bolt. I really do. I really think there's something that is making the cops think it wasn't foul play. I could be wrong, but I think there's a good chance she bolted, man. I really do. One thing is, though, it'd be hard to stay missing for 12 years and nobody spot you. Of course, up until Summer's case came out, there wasn't, a lot of popularity around her case. So it's definitely going to be hard now, And I know a lot of people say somebody on some channel admitted to being her, but, there would have been some news if that was true by now, because I'm sure we're not the only ones that seen that. Law enforcement seen it too, and they questioned that person. And you would have thought there'd have been news of a break by now. But I don't know. If I had to guess, I think Rose might have left on purpose. Or it could have been a thing where she initially went on the run, kinda, and that had to put her around sketchy people, and then something happened to her, because 12 years is a long time to be missing. So, but I think originally there's a good chance it started out as voluntary. Because, even Grandis put it out there that she thought she could have wandered away over a head injury. So I think it could have started out as leaving and then turned into something bad. Something happened after that. Because you'd have to be around some dodgy people, like I said, and you'd probably have to put yourself in some bad predicaments to continue being on the lam, But that's all I got. I wanted to update a little bit because I hate that in my other one, I said there was no evidence at the car. No, there is DNA. And he said there was evidence and there was DNA evidence. So apparently there's more than just DNA. There was other evidence. And I'd love to know if y'all know about the seat, if it was up or back, and you got this from a reputable source, let me know. I'm really interested in finding that out. All right, guys, thanks. I'll talk to you soon.